Hello, this is the pre-class lecture for Class 3. Here we take a more in-depth view of micro-marketing. This looks at marketing as a business mechanism. Micro-marketing is defined as a business mechanism that forms and manages connections between the organization and its customers or constituents, and coordinates value-creating activities across the value chain in order to create, communicate, deliver, and capture value with those customers and constituents. Please note that this definition is different than the definition given in your textbook. The definition given in your textbook is the job description of marketing. It's the specific set of responsibilities of the marketer within a particular organization. This definition is the definition of micro-marketing as a business mechanism. Think of the difference between the definition of economics and the definition of an economist. The definition of an economist would be a job description. The definition of economics describes a type of discipline or area of study. Drucker pointed out that the aim of marketing, that is, its essence, is to know and understand the customer, that is, to connect with them, to have a relationship with them, to know and understand the customer so well and so strong that the product or service fits them, again, meaning satisfies their needs and wants, is highly available to them and highly affordable to them, so that the product or service fits them so well that it sells itself. Thus, marketing helps create a customer. It helps forms communities, establish physical connections and emotional connections or relationships, and identify customer needs and wants. It then coordinates these and other activities to facilitate that customer, to service the creation, delivery, and capturing of value. The value of a product or service is much more than its price, and it's much more than just how it performs. This is worthy of repeating. The value of a product or service is more than its price and its performance. When we use the term value in a marketing context, we are referring to customer value. We in your text define customer value as the difference between what customers perceive they gain weighed against what it costs them to receive that gain. The building blocks of customer value are the basic economic utilities. Utilities are the benefits or usefulness something provides to the alleviation of some pain or the satisfaction of some need on the part of some customer, the attainment of some heart's desire or some aspirational state. There are four economic utilities. Form or task. Form is the set of benefits derived from a product performing how it was designed to function. In the case of a service, this would be called task. The set of benefits derived from a service providing what it was designed to provide. One might prefer one cell phone over another because it is waterproof, or one dry cleaner over another because it routinely makes small repairs. This preferred product and service have form or task utility. Time, which is a set of benefits derived from the product or service being available when it is needed, and place, which is the set of benefits derived from product or service being available where it is needed. A person might be willing to pay substantially more for a gallon of milk at a convenience store at the corner of their block, not because they don't care about the money, but because milk at this store has time and or place utility. Finally, we have possession or ownership, which is the set of benefits derived from product or service being affordable or being acquirable. Being able to rent a textbook rather than having to purchase one gives students ownership utility. It's been discussed in your book and mentioned in our prior sessions that these economic utilities are the result of conscious activities on the part of marketers referred to as the marketing mix. We're going to expand this concept from these basic economic utilities to include psychological utilities as well. So form or task, time, and place can be combined to contribute to what we will refer to as the overall functionality or instrumentality of the product. In addition to its ability to perform or to achieve some task, this includes the customer's ability and comfort level in using the product or service. An electronic device may record television programs, provide access to internet games and live streaming television. But if it is too complicated for most people to use, it may have high form utility, but not be very functional. In addition to what the product does, when and where it might do it, and how easy it is to use, we can include how the product might make the customer feel. And so in addition to functionality, we also add to these economic utilities the additional psychological utility of experiential. This is the extent to which the customer engages in some experience, feels or interacts with some external aspect of his or her environment. And symbolic or expressive utility. This is achieving some image of themselves or some perception that they want others to have of them. And then the ownership economic utility would correspond to the psychological utility of cost sacrifice. The sacrifice the person has to endure or engage in order to obtain that ownership. And so our set of potential utilities that may underlie value, which in turn underlies the creation of a customer, will now consist of form or task, time, place, ownership or possession, functionality, experience, symbolism, and cost sacrifice. We have said here that ownership corresponds to cost sacrifice, and also that the cost sacrifice utilities enables ownership. But we need to point out that these are still two very distinctive utilities. The essence of possession or ownership deals with the ability, both physical and financial, to own. So the extent to which the person has the ability to take ownership or to take possession, irrespective of what the cost might be. The essence of the cost sacrifice utility, on the other hand, is the pain of owning, how significant the drain on one's resources might be, regardless of whether one has the ability to own or not. So you can envision certain types of products that you may certainly be able to afford, but may not be able to acquire. For instance, consider the golf course at Augusta. There are many that would certainly have the financial capability to acquire such a membership, i.e. minimum cost sacrifice. But given the rules, the guidelines, and traditions of that golf course, they would not have the ability to take possession or to have a membership. So as we look at the overall value creation process, we can think of the marketing mix as the control mechanism of a very elaborate and sophisticated lighting system. Marketers move these levers up and down in order to send currents across certain connections to turn on and off certain utilities. In this analogy, we refer to the various sources of value or utilities as the wiring that provides these connections. The 5 sources of utility or value consist of information, the physical aspects of the product itself, the interactions of individuals and staff with customers, and the procedures involved with those customers using or buying the product or service, the overall environment, and the contractual activities involved in exchanging ownership. So price, place, promotion, and product generates or triggers either 1, information flow, 2, the benefits of a physical product or service, 3, engagement opportunities with the customer or touch points with the customer that potentially can nurture and maintain relationships, 4, positive influences on the environment that can impact exchange. For example, the overall lighting of a department store or the atmosphere or aesthetics of a Starbucks or coffee house. And 5, finally, increases or reduction in the cost or sacrifice associated with a customer obtaining ownership. So moving these levers sends the energizing currents of these sources of value, enabling one or more of our basic set of values or utilities. Form, functionality, experiential or hedonic, time and also place, symbolic, cost sacrifice, and ownership. So the overall value creation process, in essence, is trying to learn how to control this lighting system to have just the right positioning of the levers to create just the right utility creating energy sources to turn on those utilities that will create a customer. Consider this very basic product. Cinnamon Imperials is one of Brock's oldest and most popular candies. Over 6 million customers, 2% of the market, buy the candy each year. If you are one of the 6 million that has purchased this product, or if you are one of the additional 10 to 12 million that like or have purchased this type of product, then if Brock increased its advertising, it might make you more aware next time you're in the store and more likely to buy. Or if the company could reduce the price of the candy, it might enable customers to buy it more often, or again, might attract past customers or customers of competing brands. This candy is available in 90% of retail locations that carry candy. Maybe you shop at one that doesn't currently carry it. If the company expanded its distribution, then it would be more convenient for you to buy, and again, you might buy more often. Or maybe the company might alter the packaging, making it more appropriate as a gift or to be set out on a desk. These examples illustrate what is meant when it is said advertising, selling, retailing, etc. facilitate a customer. The examples show how a lapsed buyer might be encouraged to buy again, or a current buyer or a buyer of a similar but different brand might be induced to buy more often. But if you are part of the population that never eats candy or never eats this type of candy for whatever reason, none of these actions, increasing advertising, lowering price, widening distribution, etc., will get you to buy. They will not get a non-cinnamon imperial type buyer to become a buyer, i.e., they will not create a customer. So what about those non-candy eaters, or candy eaters that prefer a completely different type of candy? How does Brock's get them to buy? The most obvious action would be to change the nature of the product. Brock's could coat the product with chocolate, thus creating a new customer from the community of chocolate lovers who would now have a reason to at least try the product. It may not even be about taste. Brock's is the #1 seller of candy corn. Candy corn ingratiated itself into the community of Halloween lovers and formed a relationship with the holiday. A recent poll showed consumers don't even like the candy, but because they love Halloween and it is part of Halloween, the market spends over $10 million a year on candy corn. Brock's might do the same thing with the Cinnamon Imperials. Can you think of a holiday where red candy might become associated? Well, you guessed it. Brock's made the product in the shape of hearts and is trying to make it a staple of Valentine's Day. What about the non-candy eater? What might be done with them? Well, they may not buy or eat candy, but perhaps they buy greeting cards or novelty gift items.